Hi, my name is Eryn, and this is my final thesis presentation. My thesis invites viewers to imagine a speculative future in which humanity is forced to live indoors due to the dire conditions of the outside world. With no access to the natural world, people are left with a romanticized view of the past, a profound sense of loss, and the weight of fault. As a result, ecological grief has become embedded within this new post nature era. As people learn to let go of the physicality of the natural world, they must cope by creating new digital, conceptual, and spiritual relationships with nature. The first artifact in the scenario is a post nature window, which serves as a bridge to the past and an avenue for escape and creating connections to an imagined nature. Due to the conditions of the outside world, people either no longer have access to windows or have nothing to look at outside of them. Instead, they use projections of windows as a generative and therapeutic space. Users can click into the window to open a 3D projection that then overtakes their living space and immerses them within an alternative reality. By expanding the limitations of what people in this future have lost, the post nature windows provide them with an interactive space to learn about the elements of the outside world that they are unfamiliar with and uncovers the threads that once connected the ecosystem. As the user explores the holographic space, a sphere encircles their body, projecting digital threads that connect them to the flora and fauna throughout the landscape. The user can open these threads and learn about the connections that humanity once had with nature and the underlying natural systems that our actions destroyed. They can interact with animals, form connections with specific places, and save their favorite threads so that they can visit them again later. And they can examine threads' connections with one another and the interdependent systems that once sustained the environment. The post nature windows provide a framework for the integration of memory, reflection, and escape, and allow people to connect to the past that they desperately imagine and long for. The next artifact in the scenario is a sensory stimulation therapy designed to help treat people with ecological grief and help them cope with living their lives confined within their homes. The touchstones are small totems that encase various natural artifacts from the inter-nature time period, which people treat as talisman that they collect and trade. Using the True Nature app on their phone, they have access to sensory stimulation therapies, including touch, visual, sound, and smell, and can choose various exercises or follow a treatment plan. To do an exercise, the user connects their stone of choice to the device, which connects to the app and tailors each experience to that specific stone based on the artifact inside of it and its specific sensory qualities desired by the user. Once the exercise starts, users are advised to close their phone for optimal experience. This ensures that they focus their full attention on the smell, sound, touch, or visual experience from the device. Through sensory stimulation, interaction with the touchstones enables people to connect with nature in a more natural, tangible, and immersive way. The last artifact in the scenario is a deck of tarot cards, a reinterpretation of classic tarot cards, but with a new ecological agenda. While traditional tarot decks rely on centuries old iconography and universal symbolism that stems from human forms, emotions, and historical events to communicate the card's meaning, this deck of card moves away from conventional anthropocentric displays of meaning and instead frames plant life as its sole vocabulary and means of interpretation. Just as traditional tarot cards have been designed to reflect important aspects of the real world that users live in, this deck does the same and signifies a major shift in the collective psychology. In this future, users have formed strong spiritual and intellectual connections to the life forms that they have lost because they no longer have the luxury of any other means of connection. As a result, the plants depicted in the cards embody layered symbolic significance to the people that use them and serve as a source of spiritual connection, guidance and reassurance, and signs of hope. And by inferring that users are able to connect with the mere representation of plants to derive meaning and archetypal resonance, the cards showcase a new ecocentric perspective that has become embedded within this world. In this sense, the cards themselves are also symbols, both for the people in this future and for us. As artifacts of this evolution in the collective unconscious, they remind us that it is possible to change and that we can reframe the ways in which we view our relationship with nature. Throughout the past year, I experimented with many different methods of working, took different directions, and explored many scenarios and artifacts to get here, but landed on these objects as the most visceral way to tell this story. Through a cautionary glimpse into a world that we could be in the process of creating, this project intends to call attention to the cause and effect relationship between the choices we make today and their implications tomorrow, and poses the question, when is it too late to change?